Yes, what's good everyone? Welcome back to a new video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the Silver Bullet model simplified. So I'll start off by showing you guys just the rules and the parameters behind this model, and then we'll dive into a few chart examples. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So here's what the model looks like on paper. So first of all, you need to see either a higher time frame sweep on buy side or sell side liquidity, or price must mitigate a higher time frame PD area. Think a higher time frame fair value gap, could be a higher time frame order block, a higher time frame breaker, higher time frame equilibrium, optimal trade entry, any PD area. It still works with this model. Even better if you get the higher time frame sweep with that higher time frame PD area. That's where you'll typically see the best setups where everything's aligning. So after that higher time frame sweep or mitigating the PD area, ideally both. Number two, you want to see a displacement in the opposing direction. So I think if we take out a swing high, such as buy side liquidity, you want to see sell side delivery straight after sweeping that buy side. So prices moving up, 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 sweeps out that buy side liquidity, and then you want to see a sharp displacement to the downside. And then again, opposing for looking for longs, you just see price moving lower, 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 taking out that higher time frame level, PD array or a sweep, and then you want to see a sharp displacement to the upside, and that is your displacement. Also, the displacement must cause a market structure shift. Think a swing high or a swing low, again depending on the trade direction. If it doesn't have a market structure shift, it is not a valid displacement, therefore it is not a valid silver bullet. So now that we've got the higher time frame sweep and the displacement with the market structure shift, and lastly, you're just simply looking for a clear fair value gap within the displacement leg, not just a little tiny one tick gap. You need to see a clear fair value gap. And then as soon as price retraces back and rebalances that fair value gap, that is exactly where you want to be going long or short, depending on the trade direction. Okay, so now that we understand the model on paper, let's talk about stop losses. So you've got three choices, starting with number one, the external range high or low of the displacement leg. Now this is a more conservative stop loss, meaning it gives price a little bit more room in case it wants to retrace a little bit further than the fair value gap. Now it comes with one upside and one downside. Starting with the upside, it allows a higher win rate model because there is less chance that you will be getting stopped out before take profits get hit, but it also comes with a downside, with that being a lower risk to reward ratio. Then for stop loss number two, you can put it above or below depending on the trade direction, candle number one of the fair value gap. Now it's still a little bit conservative, but there will be some scenarios where price will poke above candle number one or below candle number one of the fair value gap, again dependent on the trade direction, and then it will just seek and destroy and then move to full TP. Doesn't happen all of the time, but if you are choosing this approach to choosing your stop loss above or below candle number one, just be aware that there will be cases where you may be stopped out and then it runs to final TP. It's all about what you favour more, whether that be risk to reward ratio or win rate. Now this approach, above or below candle number one of the fair value gap, gives it that best balance because it's a little bit conservative, but it still allows for a slightly higher risk to reward ratio than putting your stop loss at the external high or low. Now option number three is above or below dependent on the trade direction, candle number two of the fair value gap. Now this approach is the most aggressive, so if you do choose to pick this approach, just understand that there'll be a few times where you will get wicked out and then it will run to your TP. It is painful to see, but would you prefer a higher win rate model with a lower risk to reward ratio, or would you prefer a lower win rate? So just a quick rundown of all three. External high or low comes with a higher win rate but lower average risk to reward ratio. Number two, above or below depending on the trade direction of candle number one of the fair value gap, comes with a slightly lower win rate than option number one, but again offers a little bit higher risk to reward ratio. And then option number three, which is the most aggressive, comes with a slightly lower win rate again, but this will offer the highest risk to reward ratio. But if you're a little bit confused in what I'm actually talking about here, I will show you exactly what I am talking about when we get into the chart examples. Okay, now on to taking profits. Now personally, I like to use a simple but effective approach, that being with number one, taking profits at an internal swing high or low. Now ICT likes to describe this as low hanging fruit objectives, because internal range is such an easier profit objective than trying to target the totally opposing side of liquidity, that being external range. Again, I'll show you these in the chart examples if you're unfamiliar what I'm talking about, but at the internal swing high or low, I like to close around 80% of my position off there, securing around 1, maybe even 1.5 risk to reward ratio. And then the remaining 20%, I'll just hold that at break even, and I'll let that run for external range liquidity, just to squeeze that little bit extra in terms of risk to reward or percent. If you want me to personally tighten your model and risk plan, then the link to one-to-one mentorship is in the description of the video. Okay, so now that we've went through the full model on paper, the stop loss, the take profit logic, let's dive into a few chart examples. Okay, now this is a trade that I had actually taken live yesterday. So first of all, we've got buy side liquidity marked out, and you see how price action is already building up, ready to come and take out that buy side liquidity. So price is moving up, there we go. So we've just swept out buy side liquidity there. Now step number one is checked off the list. Step number two, you want to see a sharp displacement with sell side delivery to the downside, now that we've taken out buy side liquidity, and it must have a market structure shift with a bearish ICT fair value gap. Okay, so we've just put in a swing low there, and then boom, we've just broken it to the downside with a sharp displacement. Also notice how we've got the bearish ICT fair value gap, so I will mark that out. That's exactly where you want to be going short right there. As for stop loss, again, you could put it at the external range of the displacement leg, which would be a little bit more of a conservative approach, or candle number one. In this case, candle number one of the fair value gap is the external range high of the displacement leg, or candle number two, you can put it there as well, which would still be valid, as it is pretty much at the high there as well. And then as for taking profits, TP1 would be internal range at this swing low. This is where you want to be closing around, again, 80% of your position off at this low, and then you would just simply hold a runner for that external range sell side liquidity. So we will play price out and see how it works. So boom, TP1 smashed, you'd be closing 80% there, and then you would just be trailing your stop loss to break even. Again, as soon as TP1 gets hit, that is where you instantly want to go break even on your trades, just to lock in that profit. And then we get stopped out there at break even. So your main focus is always going to be TP1. You're not focusing all the way down at the external range liquidity. That is just a bonus. So whenever you close 80% off of your position there, whatever you were holding on the rest of that position is just a bonus. Okay guys, so here is another example. So we've got the external range high marked out there. Now we're just waiting for price to simply sweep above that level, and there we go, we'll get that right there. Now you're simply looking for a displacement sharply in the opposing direction, must have a market structure shift with that ICT bearish fair value gap. Okay, so we'll get the bearish market structure shift here after price breaks below this swing low. Also has the ICT bearish fair value gap. That is where you want to be going short as soon as price retests that gap. So as soon as this candlestick closes, you set your sell limit. Okay, so for this one, you can either have your stop loss at the external range liquidity. Remember what I was saying, that this comes with a lower risk to reward ratio, because this internal range low would only be around 1.6 R, but if you had have put it at the candle number 2, that is a 2.48 risk to reward ratio. So you can clearly see whether if you put it at the external high or candle number 2 of the fair value gap, there's usually a significant difference, not just in risk to reward, but also in the win rate of the model as well. So just because you're putting your stop loss at candle number 2, it doesn't automatically mean that you are trading better. Like essentially what I'm saying is the tighter the stop loss that you are using with this model, the lower the win rate will be. But again, the higher the risk to reward will also be. So let's just say in this example you had it at candle number 2 of the fair value gap, and you had TP1 at the internal range low right here. So you want to be closing around 80% off right there. So boom, you filled into the trade right there. And now you're just simply holding onto the trade to see if TP1 gets hit. If it does, that is where you want to be closing around 80% of your position. Okay, boom, TP1 hit. That is where you want to be closing 80% off there and setting your stop loss to break even. And then personally, what I do is I like to hold a runner for external range liquidity. But in this case, it is a little bit far-fetched. That full TP would actually get hit. So what I like to do is grab the swing low of the dealing range to the swing high, get 50% of that dealing range, and anything at or below 50% of the dealing range, such as this swing low right here over to the left, that is where you want to be closing fully with your runner. And you can see right there that full TP would have been smashed, securing you around 2.6 to maybe even 3 or on the trade, depending on where you had set your stop loss. Okay, so now that I've shown you guys a couple short examples, now I'll show you guys a couple long examples. Okay, now in this long example, this is not really based on a sweep of liquidity. This is actually based off of a higher time frame PD array, that being optimal trade entry of this 15-minute dealing range. As you can see, we are on the 15-minute chart. So price comes down, optimal trade entry. Now we'll go down to the 1-minute time frame. Simply what you're looking for is just that market structure shift with the fair value gap with a displacement. And then boom, you get it right there. As for entry, you could either have your buy limit at the lower fair value gap if there's 2 fair value gaps, or the higher fair value gap. In this trade personally, I would just be going long inside of that upper fair value gap. Stops would be at candle number 2 of the first fair value gap. Since it is 2 fair value gaps, you can be a little bit more aggressive with your stop loss on this one. And then as for TP, you would just simply set it at the lowest hanging fruit, this being internal range liquidity. So you'd close around 80% off there. Or since the risk to reward ratio is a little bit low on this one, you would either close fully or close 80% off and then hold the runner for higher risk to reward ratio. But let's say that you wanted to close fully at the internal range liquidity simply because it's a lower risk to reward ratio. Okay, boom, you tapped into the trade right there, and within just like a minute or two, the internal range liquidity has been taken and full TP was hit. And just to show you guys in this example, if I had have put my stop loss at the external range liquidity of the displacement leg, just look at the lower risk to reward ratio that comes with it. Yes, it is a higher chance that you won't be getting stopped out before the move, but what's the chances of the market coming all the way back down below these lows and then running the final TP? So sometimes with models like these, in terms of stop loss, you need to have a little bit of logic. So again, with experience, there will be scenarios where you will be a little bit more comfortable holding at candle number 1 or candle number 2 of the fair value gap. And there'll also be scenarios where the only logical place to place your stop loss would be at the external range liquidity. But yeah guys, I think that wraps it up for today's video. If you are interested in one-to-one mentoring by me, again, the link is in the description to apply. But other than that guys, I'll see you all in the next video.